Hello everyone, I'm Kevin, otherwise known as Forum VX257, here to bring another old G.I. Joe toy review. And today I'll be taking a renewed look at one of my top 10 favorite figures, the Cobra Elite Trooper, the 1985 Crimson Guard. Now, even though he's a 1985 figure, the Crimson Guard first makes his appearance in September of 1984 in the cartoon in the 5-part miniseries, The Revenge of Cobra, in the very first part. And in the comic books, he makes his first appearance in November of 1984 in issue 29. However, in that issue, he's given a sort of prototype or placeholder outfit, and it isn't until issue 38 that we get to see the more classic Crimson Guard uniform that we all recognize. Now, one of the reasons why the character, despite, he has a really cool outfit, and red is pretty much synonymous in the military world with the top elite of whatever unit. But one of the things that really appealed to me, he's a villain character, so I wouldn't say appeal, but one of the things that really struck me is that he's not just your ordinary thug. This guy is represented as a professional, and that's just, to be quite honest, it's kind of a scary concept, because when I was growing up in the 80s, being a professional was really the way of life. You aspire to be a professional businessman or a lawyer or an accountant or a politician. And here Larry Hama has written this character to be that, but to go beyond that and sort of twist that sort of me generation professionalism into something really dark. And of course, just by reading the back of the card, sometimes the card actually does have a secondary primary military specialty as accountant. But yeah, this is really a representation of that sort of creepy, smiling professionalism on the surface, but beneath that he's part of a secret society who's looking to take over the world. The Crimson Guard has always struck me as a very impressive sculpt, with its parade military dress sort of look. It's its own unique design. It's not really from any one particular source. You'll notice that on the card art and even the comic books and cartoons, the faces are always silver with black eyelets and a black mouth bend, whereas the figures has always been reverse of that with a black face. Now, I think that was a last minute change for aesthetic reasons, because I remember seeing the prototypes of the figure clearly with a silver face. Now, the figure comes with a AK-48A with bayonet, which is how it's listed on the card. However, it's pretty obvious that this is a representation of a Swedish AK-5. And he also comes with a dress backpack. Now, the backpack is not a very practical looking thing, but it's meant just for show. And speaking of the backpack, the more common version of the backpack is solid at the back. However, a few versions have hollowed out insides. Now, obviously, it's very hard to tell from this angle which version you have, but this is actually a much nicer look for the figure, because as you can see, the backpack rides so high that you can actually kind of see the insides there, and it's nice to see that that's solid rather than hollow. Another interesting variation is, well, I don't have the actual variation here, but there are versions where the plastic of the red is actually quite a bit darker. It's almost maroon in color. On top of all that, you have file card variations. About the only really negative thing I can say about the original Crimson Guards is Hasbro's use of silver paint. Hasbro just can't seem to get silver paint right on these older figures. And as you can see, A nice little arm badge symbol here. Because it's so wide, it's almost always wiped off or in danger of being wiped off. Well, that's all the time I have right now. Please check out my Facebook page for more information and behind-the-scenes photos for these reviews. Thank you for watching this video, and stay tuned for next time to see another 1980s G.I. Joe toy review. See you then!